Thanks for tuning in to my official YouTube channel. I'm Reverend MeeLing. I've been known by a few names: Reverend MeeLing, Reverend Susan MeeLing, Lady MeeLing, Lady Dori, Belle. I'm passing exit 122 right now. And exit 122 is for Priest Road and Mathis Road, which is an ironic little coinky-dink. My son and my daughter were born 1 year, 2 weeks, and 2 days apart. And then there's Mad Dog Mattis. And I landed in the Matthias Abyss when I went scuba diving at the area of the Vandenberg, which is kind of weird in a lot of ways. And then I had also looked at joining the Marine Corps instead of the Army when I had fought to be emancipated. However, I went into the Army because of the sign-on bonus, though I took the ideals in reference to not calling myself a soldier unless I had graduated basic training. So that's been a personal issue for me as far as acknowledging the veteran status, because by technicalities it is easier for me to acknowledge in certain ways being a veteran, but I still have issues with it. It's a personal thing. Nonetheless, it's just kind of interesting that there is on exit 122, 1 year, 2 weeks, 2 days of my son and my daughter's birth between one another. And I counted. I counted. That's how I know it's 1 year, 2 weeks, and 2 days from my son's birth to my daughter's birth. And so that, with the irony of that Marine general being, a Marine Corps general, and then the nickname of Mad Dog, and then I was born in the year of the dog. And I got to meet Arlie Ermy, which, what's the term for the Marine Corps? They're devil dogs. And I know that there are some Marine Corps guys that don't necessarily like that, but realistically, own that. Because yes, rawr. And who doesn't like puppy dogs? If you don't like puppy dogs, I'm just saying. I like puppy dogs. And I was born in the year of the dog by Chinese zodiac. And I was born and raised in New Jersey, which I'm into hockey. So the hockey team for New Jersey is known as the New Jersey Devils. And then, then there's a 536, which is ironic in that prefix. Nonetheless, then there's the fact that there is actually a New Jersey Devil. There have been many reporting in reference to having seen certain things from the New Jersey Devil, and yeah, the New Jersey, that's a whole other thing. But yeah, and then I was thinking, which has nothing to do with what I had done in a prior video, but nonetheless, in regards to zodiac stuff. So I had gotten my astrological chart done, like the different, all sorts of, witch houses and all that. And I have literally every single zodiac in my birth chart. All the different planetary alignments, like all that, because of not just the date and the month and the year, but also the specific time that I was born. So that was 7:34 Yeah, so 2 sevens. And so there's that. And then depending on how you view certain things, especially after my birth and stuff like that, then you also can take into consideration, partially I guess in reference to the aspects of my zodiac birth chart, the the head injury on Palm Sunday, and whether you consider that in that regard in 2000, and then that I woke up from my coma whenever I did, which I looked at some of the paperwork and it kind of equates to around the 4th of July. So that's both Aries and Cancer, depending on. So there's Virgo, Aries, Cancer. And then after that, then you got like my scuba diving, which is, it started essentially in the Aquarius, Pisces cusp area. And then when I went scuba diving in Cozumel, then that's kind of Gemini, I think, for the time frame. And then Cancer, Leo for both Boca Raton and the Matthias Abyss, though I was born in the Virgo sign. And then the cavern scuba diving was essentially around Sagittarius, Scorpio, for the official certification. And then the underwater pumpkin carving contest that I had taken pictures, that would be Libra, Scorpio. No, it's Scorpio cusp. And so, yeah, the Libra was the aspect for the cavern certification classes actually in Florida, but my certification in Sagittarius. And then, whatchamacallit, yeah, it's like every single zodiac. Just through the scuba diving, not forgetting like the head injury on Palm Sunday in 2000, and then waking up and all that. And so that's just kind of ironic, that reference of that. And then if you take into consideration on top of that, when I had published each of the books, though I initially started writing Finding a Silver Lining and Finding the Silver Lining when I was in San Antonio, Texas, in my house in San Antonio. That's when I initially started writing and compiling that stuff together. Not all of it, of course, in reference to what happened afterwards, but initially, like, my first aspect of putting that together, that was essentially, I think it was 2006 or 2007 when I officially started trying to write things up, and that was in reference to my son and my daughter, because I was afraid of certain things that were going on in reference to my now dead ex-husband. So initially I started writing that in my backyard in San Antonio, and I continued trying to do certain things when it came to putting that autobiography stuff together in that time frame, and worked on that throughout essentially 2006, 2007, all the way up until I wound up dealing with that aspect in reference to the Cowboys Dance Hall with Stoney LaRue. So that would be essentially 2013. So from 2006, 2007 to 2013, I had done a whole bunch in that regards of writing of my autobiography stuff. And then essentially 2014 is when Finding a Silver Lining and Finding the Silver Lining were finished. And put that all together and sent that in for publication. Capricorn, I think. I think Capricorn was the sign that I had put that together in, as far as zodiac concerned. And then, yeah, and then, you know, because of, what is it? Between my book writing stuff, scuba diving stuff, and my Medal of Honor art project stuff, well, that's like all 12 of the Chinese zodiac signs. All 12 of them. Which makes sense now as to why in my birth chart I could find all of that stuff. Now, at least it makes sense. At that time, when I first got my birth chart taken care of, it made absolutely no sense to me as to why I had every single zodiac sign in my chart. And I know that there are plenty of people who are like, oh, whatever, zodiac, you know, it's foofy or whatever, or how, you know, woo sort of stuff. And, well, the irony, it makes so much sense right now as to why I'm having all of those different zodiac aspects in my birth chart. Now, at least, in 2020. Today is the 17th of June, 2020, to be specific. So, you know, it's kind of interesting. And so, yeah, in that reference. So, you know, I don't know if anybody else has studied their own zodiac charts, but yeah, that makes a lot of sense when it comes to looking at it now in that regard. Because when I first got my birth chart done, it was one of those, well, why? And that was what part of why I wanted to know. Well, there were many other reasons why I wanted to know the exact amount of time between my son's birth and my daughter's birth. But then that kind of spiraled, and I was like, well, what is my birth chart stuff? So, yeah. Makes so much more sense now in that reference. So, this is ridiculous. Why is there traffic? So, but yeah. Anyway. I'm on my way to go take care of some stuff. And as soon as traffic, you know, clears up so that way I can go the speed limit, can get the stuff done quicker. Instead of, you know, sitting in traffic, because I'm going to go no matter what, and no matter how long it takes, so it's probably better for certain aspects, nonetheless. Sure are a lot of state patrol out on the road right now. But yeah. Anyway, you guys have a good one. Comment, like, share, and subscribe to my official YouTube channel. Thanks, and have a good one.